Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for another fantastic week with all your students. We're gearing up for open house and just doing a lot of things. There's, as usual, a lot going on. I do have some announcements for you. Next Wednesday is Global School Play Day, so it's a day where schools take time just to play. There is an incredible amount of learning and development that happens when kids play. Card games, board games, outdoor games, made-up games, sports games, any of those games. As you know, the kids really have to learn a lot and grow a lot during those things. So we take the whole day on Wednesday and we play games. We'll play with our buddies in the morning. We'll play inside. Hopefully the weather allows us to play outside, but students are allowed to bring a board game from home if they want to. We have a lot here, but if they want to bring a board game that would be school appropriate, they can do that on Wednesday. And so we'll get to play a lot and it'll be a really fun day. On Friday next week, we have a Lunar New Year student performance and lunch. So we have some parents that are bringing food for the class. And so you can either not bring lunch that day or bring lunch and then you wouldn't have the food that's being provided. Of course, you could go to the cafeteria that day if you wanted, but just to let you know that that's happening on Friday. Like I said, we're gearing up for open house. So coming up on Thursday, February 15th is open house from 6 to 7 p.m. And because of that, it will be a minimum day, which means the students get out at 1:05. The next day after that, Friday, February 16th, is a teacher work day. So all the teachers will be at schools across the district working, but students will not be there on Friday the 16th. Also, Monday the 19th, that is a 4-day weekend for students. They're not at school Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. That Monday is President's Day. In academics this week, for reading, I'll continue to read Number of the Stars by Lois Lowry. We didn't have a lot of time to get through much of it this week, but we're trying to finish it up in the next few weeks. So I'll continue to read Number of the Stars. The kids are continuing their work in the historical fiction unit. They're working on 2 projects. One of them they're going to turn in is a reader's notebook page, really focusing on the elements that we talked about in class and have been studying for historical fiction. And then they're also going to work on an open house project that you will see at open house, and they'll kind of work on that at the end of the week. So they've been gathering lots of evidence to put together these great reader's notebook pages. They'll do that in the first half, and then they have their project to work on, which you'll see at open house. For writing, the kids are going to publish their memoir and share it in class, and then they'll work on a project at open house, which you should see if we have enough time that they will be able to see it. It's related to the memoir, and hopefully you'll be able to see it when we get there, but it's related to the memoir, so hopefully you'll see that. And then they're turning in their published memoir on Tuesday, so the kids will get to see it on Tuesday. But if you haven't seen it, they're really different from other pieces of writing. It really incorporates a lot of different kinds of thinking, and there's a lot of freedom in the structure. And so I think I said this when we started, I think for some of your kids, this will be their favorite piece of writing throughout the year because it is very open to interpretation and open to creativity. Some of your students, it will be their least favorite piece of writing because it is open to creativity and open to interpretation. But either way, we have some really great pieces happening and some really incredible thinking and work happening in writing. For math next week, we're just going to spend some time reviewing all that we've learned for multiplying and dividing fractions, and then we'll take a final test on all the operations of fractions on Thursday. And then to give you a preview for the next week, they'll be working on a project that, again, you should see at open house if we have time. For social studies, we are now on the road to the revolution. So we're looking at life in the 13 colonies, and now specifically like how we got from these British colonies who were pretty happy being British colonies to now being a little more consolidated. I mean, they're all working together and there's a sense of America happening and what led up to the actual American Revolution itself. So we're going to learn about all the different important acts, the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, the Quartering Act, all these different acts that England kind of places on the colonies and the backlash from the colonies. And so those are the really big events. So the kids are going to be making a digital timeline cataloging all those events as we're studying them. But we are fresh on the road to revolution for that. The kids will go to science lab with Mrs. DeMarco. They're taking like an end of unit test on Thursday. And then for language next week, we're doing something called word gradients. So we're going to talk about like a color gradient. So you can imagine a long strip that starts really red on this side and really blue on this side, but it all kinds of blends together, the colors in between. So you go from red all the way to blue, but everything is kind of blended together. So we're gonna do that with words as well. We're gonna talk about, an example I could use would be like strong and weak. So I could have on one side, it's like the biggest word I have for the most intense word I have for strong. On the other side, I have the most intense word for weak. And there's a bunch of words in between. And so the kids are going to have to look at the definitions of all those words and kind of put them along the gradient, put them in order how they think they would go. And that's going to have a lot of discussion about word definitions and the intensity of words and how we compare them. And so that'll be a fun activity that we'll do for language. And for leadership next week, we're continuing in the second trimester looking at important events from all different viewpoints and trying to understand different viewpoints and look through the lens of someone else as a way to grow in that area. So we're better able to deal with conflict and better able to put ourselves in other people's shoes, to plan ahead, to figure things out. And so next week, we're going to talk about a situation where someone in a group is excluded for one reason or another, and how to deal with that, and how to look at what's happening from all different perspectives, why the person did the excluding in the first place, what the person feels like who was excluded, how other students are trying to help out. And so that'll be hopefully a very fruitful activity as well next week. So as always, there's a huge amount going on. Again, if you haven't marked your calendar yet for open house, please do. It's Thursday, February 15th from 6 to 7 p.m. right here in our classroom. You don't have to come for the whole hour. You can come and stop by at the beginning or at the end. But it's a really great time to see a lot of the students' work and to really celebrate all of their hard work that they've done. We don't get a huge number of opportunities to really celebrate your students for all the hard work that they do, but they work hard on a daily basis and definitely deserve to be celebrated when that chance pops up. So hopefully I will see you then. Have a great weekend. Stay dry next week. We're going to try to get outside whenever we can next week. And hopefully we don't get drenched too much here at school so the kids can play. And hopefully Global School Play Day on Wednesday is a big hit. As always, you can tell me about any questions or comments. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.